Hello, Internet, and thank you for joining me today. So, it's been about a month, and it's not that I haven't had anything to say on the internet, it's just that I've been busy with, life and everything else that might entail. So, I'm sorry if this is coming at you pretty late, but I did want to give some thoughts on the last few episodes of Invincible. In my last video, I kind of just talked about the entire thing in general, and that's going to continue on in this video because I kind of don't want to get into specific episodes because I don't want to run that kind of channel. So I'm just going to tell you what I think about basically the ending and some of the episodes that came out after my last video. Part of what kills me about these videos is the editing of the videos. So in order to get this out in some kind of fashion, I'm just going to do this one podcast style, and hopefully whenever I come back to do my next video, it'll actually have some visuals so that you won't be staring into the abyss while I jabber on about something. And I'm not going to give my normal disclaimers either. I don't read the comic books, but I'm just going to jump right into my thoughts about the last few episodes that I didn't cover in my last video. So one complaint that I heard about pretty much all the time after I released that video, I started watching some other ones, and the complaint I consistently heard was that the animation in Season 3 of Invincible is bad. And I really didn't get a sense of that until I saw Episode 4. Episode 4 of that show seems like they went from, I don't know what the different animation studios are, but it seems like they went from something akin to PowerPoint to just a PDF where we're just scrolling through different slides. And it was legitimately awful. I cannot defend the majority, I should say, of Episode 4's animation. It just looks like ass. And there's so few things moving in most of it that I was surprised that this came from Amazon, one of the biggest companies on the fucking planet. But I guess we had to fork some more money over to the Tolkien estate so that we could, continue desecrating his corpse. And I'm not going to talk about it right this second, but for everyone that's going to bring it up in the comments before they finish this video, yes, the Conquest fight is awesome. Give me a minute. I'm going through some complaints, all right? All right. And speaking of complaints, let's move on to my second one, which is no one stays dead in this fucking show. I don't know if this is the same for the comics because, again, I don't read the comics, or at least I haven't started. I'm going to. I just, I saw a copy at Barnes & Noble for the first compendium, and that shit was like $60-$70. So I don't make any money on this channel, so I'm not doing that until I can start making money. If you want to donate to me, I don't have any donation links, so I don't know. Leave a comment. Maybe I can monetize this channel at some point. That'd be cool. Anyway, no one stays dead. This makes the show have exactly zero stakes because anyone that decides to, kick the bucket or whatever is just going to magically come back, or there's going to be an alternate universe version of them that just shows up. And it's not necessarily the biggest sin of Invincible, as a show, but it is kind of a bane of my existence for anything comic book related. I always hate it when it's like, oh, well, they just barely survived and you only thought that they were dead. That is the worst thing that you can do from a narrative standpoint. And honestly, Invincible has done this so many different times that I'm surprised it can even fake me out anymore because... spoilers, whatever. When Conquest gets, quote unquote, killed, I honestly thought they killed him. I thought that we weren't going to see any more Conquest, and I was happy with it because we got a lot of good Conquest stuff. Again, I'll start glazing that a little bit more here in just a minute when I get into the praising section of this, but right now I'm still focusing on this complaint about no one staying dead. We are really running the risk in this show of a conveyor belt plot where we hit similar beats in every season until we get up to the already predetermined fight, which in this case, at least in the last 2 seasons, has been the Angstrom, what's his name, fights, which I guess in this season wasn't like the ultimate fight, that was Conquest, but again, we are on kind of a conveyor belt right now, so I really want them in season 4 to not do this. Like, either kill one of these main bad guys or, don't. But I could probably answer this question by just looking in the comics, but again, not making the kind of money that can afford expensive-ass comic books. So now let's move on to my final complaint, which I don't have one. The rest of this video is just going to be glazing the ending of Invincible Season 3. The Conquest fight is fucking incredible. I loved it. It was... Okay, let me get one kind of gripe out here. And I'm sorry if this is kind of tangent-y. I'm not editing this. I'm trying to just get it out. But anyway, the only thing I really didn't care for in the Conquest fight is just that there was very little to no build-up to it. If we had known who Conquest kind of was, or had heard rumors about him or whatever, that would have been awesome. But unfortunately, we didn't get any of that. He just kind of showed up, gave us his backstory, fought for basically the entire episode, which he definitely needed and deserved the entire episode. But, he fought for the whole episode and then, quote-unquote, died. Obviously, he's not dead because no one fucking dies in this show. But, he is dead in Mark's eyes, right? But I found it very refreshing that it wasn't just, he's a big dude that fights real good. I was really kind of expecting that, just hearing rumors around the internet and from some people in my real life. I really just thought he was going to show up and be, some big meathead. But no, he had a lot of depth to him, and they really showed that, and when I say they, I mean the scriptwriters really showed that they have the ability to compact basically a season's worth of build-up into about 10 minutes. When we just saw him shrugging everything that Oliver and Invincible were throwing at him, I really kind of got the impression that he was way stronger than both of them and that he could just take over the entire planet right then and there. It's brilliantly choreographed with moving from cities to the island thing and all of that. And then the buildup that they have with Adam Eve from the previous episode also ties into that and, gives us an idea of her powers, although her powers are fucking broken. If I was to make any statement on them, they're broken. They break the universe. It's something that I would explore in a different video, not this one. But I thought that was really awesome. How they just did everything with Conquest. The speech that he gives about being lonely and how he's a victim of his own success, but he just basically can't stop because there's this expectation of him to constantly take over. So the more he takes over, the more he is not resented, but feared by everyone that he could ever know. And that's a really interesting dynamic that gets explored adequately. We could do more with it. We could definitely do more with it, but the little bit that we got was really, really good. It's a really interesting idea that we're playing with here. And that's what really sets Invincible apart from most of these other shows, because most of these other shows would just have Conquest as a meathead, and I don't know, they'd probably say something about the patriarchy or some dumb shit, but regardless, we didn't get that in Invincible. We got an awesome show with awesome representations of everyone from every background, and that's really cool. And that's another thing to praise the show for, is just there's so many side characters, and they bring all these different perspectives with their character. They don't just sit there like a billboard. They go through changes. They go through strife. They bring a different idea into the show, each one of them, which actually does kind of bring me to another gripe. Aaron Paul fucking sucks in this show. This is a bit disjointed, but he plays Powerplex or Powerflex. I'm not 100% sure on the name. Not looking it up either, because this is quick and dirty. But yeah, his character really fucking sucks, which, when you think of Aaron Paul, I mean, you think of Breaking Bad, you think of BoJack Horseman. If you're like me, you think of that really crappy Need for Speed movie that no one liked, but, you know, Aaron Paul wasn't the worst part of that. But he is easily probably the worst voice actor in this show. And that's surprising. I really don't appreciate that. But, you know, you can't win them all, I guess. And if he's the weakest link, then I say we got a really good show. Because all the other voice actors are incredible. They really give a great performance. There's several people that I was surprised to find were playing different characters, because I couldn't hear them at all, and that's always an amazing thing, and I always love that. Well, I'm looking here at the recording, and it's about 12 minutes long, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just end it here. If you haven't seen Invincible Season 3 or any Invincible, it definitely gets a recommendation from me. And if you like this video, please show me by leaving a like. Subscribe, because I want to do a lot more like this. It's just hard without a bunch of subscribers or comments or anything like that. So I'm going to keep making videos, but until next time, sayonara, bitches.